So here's the idea. Single player Super Smash Bros. But with skill trees. So I'm developing a game that's a casual single-player Super Smash Bros. Style game. In this game, you're going to go to an arena to fight enemies to gain gold and XP, and then take this gold and XP back to your town to upgrade your abilities and your weapons. So I already had the combat in a pretty good state. Being able to combo enemies felt really good, but I wanted to expand on this a little more. So to start out, I needed to make a skill tree system. First, I overhauled the entire look of it. I wanted to make sure it looked good from the start, so I made these buttons with cracks all around them. I also made a little animation to have them pop up. To start off for these buttons, I set the ability for me to have text inside that I can change. I also had text below it and text above it. I got this working where the player could upgrade then based on the amount of gold or medals that upgrade costs. Next up, I wanted a progression through these skill trees. The system I went with is this bar along the bottom. As you upgrade along this skill tree and spend your points, this bar at the bottom is going to fill up. At certain milestones, more upgrades will open up. Along with this, some of the upgrades will be locked behind upgrading the building as well as reaching a certain level. This will allow me to balance the progression curve in the future. So I set it up where spending points fills up this bar, just so the player can visually see how much progression they have. Now looking at this, I already thought there was way too much text, and I wanted to simplify it a bit. So to start off, I took away the word gold and made a little gold coin. The next thing I did is above the button, instead of having the current amount they've spent, I didn't want a number there at all. So the artist that I'm working with, Wolfenrod, came up with an idea to put orbs above it. So I did that. As the player upgrades, these orbs will fill up, and I added a little animation to this too. Having the upgrade that they're currently on wiggle a little bit just to show the player where they're at. This already reduced the amount of words on the screen greatly, making it a lot easier to look at. Now you're probably wondering, why are some of the buttons green? So that's where these skill trees get interesting. I wanted the player to have a lot of control over the builds that they're going for. So I went with this sort of loadout system. There's going to be a top row and a bottom row, and each one's going to correspond to a certain build for the weapon. Take for example this sword. This top row of upgrades is going to correspond to parrying projectiles back, and this bottom row of upgrades is going to be based all around speed. Now the player can follow these paths if they want, or they can mix and match these to make their own loadout. The player can pick one upgrade from each row, and this gives the player a ton of options to build out their weapon exactly how they want. Now that I had it working and looking a lot better, I started hooking up all these upgrades. I went with the basic stats first, such as the damage, attack speed, and movement speed. And then I went to the more interesting ones, such as this one, where the higher your combo is, the faster you'll start moving. I exaggerated this effect greatly just so you can see that it's working. Now you may be wondering what these little medals are. So in the arena, the player will start to get challenges during their training, such as beating a wave in a certain amount of time, or reaching a certain combo during that wave. If the player completes these challenges, they're going to earn a medal. The upgrades with the medal over them cost a medal to upgrade. And while this cost is higher, that just means that these upgrades are way more impactful, actually changing up the moveset that you have for that weapon. For example, let's look at these first two. The top upgrade is called Upward Fury, and it'll just make your side attack also go up afterwards. The bottom upgrade is called Double Back, and it'll modify your side attack so you go back afterwards. These small tweaks to your moveset can make it so you can really customize your playstyle. I implemented these moves and got them all functioning for now, but I'll go back and add a lot more effects later on to make them look way better. The other two moves that you can change for the sword are the downward heavy attack. This first one is a ground pound, where you're just going to slam down into the ground and knock enemies upward. This can be great for starting a combo on the enemy. This other one's called lightning strike, where you're just going to slam into the ground and cause a shockwave out. So if you want to be more precise, you can go with ground pound, but if you want the bigger hitbox, you can go with lightning strike. I want to make sure each path has a certain build that you can go for, but you can still mix and match them to make them exactly how you want. These decisions will just make each loadout feel unique for the player. After I had this working, I went back and polished it a little bit more, such as making the text turn red if you don't have enough gold for that upgrade, as well as adding this indicator for what you're hovering over. I already have the skill trees planned out for the spear and the axe, but if you have any cool ideas, leave them below. Another place that you can leave these ideas is in my Discord, so check out that link in the description. In this Discord, you can just talk to me and suggest things that you want to see in the game. So I hope to see you over there. Just go to that link in the description. Now going away from the skill trees and back to the arena, I wanted to make it look a little better. So I added in the slime enemy and started to add particles and hit effects. This just makes the combat feel a little bit better. I have all the hitboxes working, even though you can't see the weapon. The artist I'm working with is drawing the sword. I just need to get it implemented. I want to make sure all the different animations feel smooth to swing. Now that I have this system set up for skill trees, I can start to add more buildings in and more weapons in. This will help diversify the gameplay a lot, allowing the player to test out different weapons and see what fits their own playstyle. And when they find a weapon that does, they can upgrade it in a way that they like, making their own loadout. I have other ideas for the future to augment the combat even further and allow the player to really fit their own playstyle. So if you want to see those, subscribe and turn on the notifications. And if you got to this point, like the video. See ya.